Kiff and Ang Productions, a Kiff and Ang podcast. The San Francisco Project Season 1, COVID-19.
I'm good. How about you? Let's talk COVID-19. CCP flu.
Saw that we could get antibody tests now. We can go directly to the Quest website, and for $119, I can have my antibody test in like 5 days. Bang.
Yeah, but you know what? So I was checking out some news last night on those antibody tests, and there's like different types of antibodies that they're supposed to be looking for, and these tests haven't really been approved, and you have to know really how the science works behind them in order to get the right antibody test. I will tell you what I just saw right before we got on this phone call on CNN was that Garcetti down in Los Angeles has announced that he has the ability to test everybody in LA County at 18,000 tests a day.
Well, what about tomorrow?
No, well, every day until
Well,
50 million tests are out.
You're going to test 18,000 people a day? Every day?
He says he has the ability to test 18,000 people a day at no cost to them.
But what about the person who wants to get one every day, though? Because I might not have it today. But what if I go out shopping and then I thought, oh, I better get another one tomorrow? And you know that those are going to be, that's the problem, you know.
Well, maybe this is just a sneaky way of identifying some mental cases in our population that perhaps requires some additional attention. I'm just going to say that.
But I mean, I would go get that test once a week if I knew it was free and easy. Wouldn't you?
No.
Go to the grocery store, make sure I don't have it. If I had an antibody test, then I'd know. I'd know.
If I got the test and I was walking down the street and somebody sneezed in my face, then I'd probably want to go back to the test. But I mean, overall, I feel like I'm living. That's the thing is we're talking about reopening businesses, and I was really thinking about it, and they have spent 2 months training us on how to be out in public with the virus now. And it's, put on your mask, carry your sanitizing lotion. Maybe you're going to get gloves when you walk into a store, then you take the gloves off when you walk out of the store. You know what I mean? We're all trained to do it. So this whole reopening thing of, what are we going to do? I really think that we're kind of a little bit more prepared than people are giving us credit for.
Oh.
But then I say that and I think about, Gavin Newsom had to come on and say the beaches are absolutely closed.
People are flipping out.
I know.
But really, we're filling up Walmarts, and people are on I don't know. To me, I get the feedback. I get I don't understand why beaches are closed. But then I'm reading a little more, and I think might just be the parking lots. But I'll be honest, I don't think that people are going to really go back. Do you know that at the beginning of March, for the 1/3 of people bought food online, and it was like less than 4% of it before that?
Oh yeah,
and almost half of them was their first time ever buying online.
Oh, for sure. It has put us into this whole, they've been talking about this online world that some of us dip our fingers into, and now, bam, here we all are.
Every little old lady. And who got that money, though? That's the question.
I was just going to say
who got that money?
I was just going to say that. That old lady, that 81-year-old lady upstairs has figured out how to order from Amazon.
Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Walmart and Amazon and Target getting almost the entire pie? And there's no brick and mortar that got any of this now. How's that going to work? How do you feel about that?
So here's the thing is years and years ago, I worked for a company that had an idea, a real estate development idea in the state of California of creating these communities where everything you needed was within the community. It's kind of old fashioned, but with a tech tip to it. So like you live in a little town, like 100,000 people, you got your theater, and you got the things that you would go out in public and do, like the town square, and then everybody works at home. They have their at-home studios, and everything is on the internet, and that's it. We go to internet school, we go to internet work, we go out and mow our lawns, we say hi to our neighbors. It's gonna be a different world. This is the world I frankly dreamed of. When I watched the Jetsons, I was like, yeah, and it's not going to end things. And I get that there's emotion behind it. I'm 52. I'm not in
No. My question is,
high school.
What is going to happen to the small business owners? What about the small grocery store owners? What about that bodega owner down the street from your house? What's going to happen to them?
Okay, the bodega owner on the corner is the hero.
Trust me, I know. 7-Eleven's like my favorite place right now. Thank you.
All right, because
they have bread and milk regularly.
Exactly. Toilet paper, paper towels, bleach. It's
hot
all been
coffee.
there. I mean,
hot coffee.
Bless their hearts. And they had to do some of the most ridiculous things to keep themselves safe in the early days. I walked in the saran wrap is stretched from one end of the counter to the other. They got these milk cartons. But the reality is those guys, when you need milk, Amazon's not going to deliver it in an hour. All right. Those guys, you can go get your milk.
Do you think we're going to be seeing more bodega type shops then?
I think that we're going to see more of the stuff that people require immediate gratification on.
I am wanting, I could kill, because there's a Starbucks right across from my apartment complex. And I'm used to, if I want, to be able to go get that hot coffee.
Yep.
And I'm thinking to myself,
gratification. You're not going to wait an hour for a hot coffee.
I can't do that. Where is my hot coffee cart is what I want to know. I want my hot coffee vendors to be driving through my neighborhood. Hurry up. I need you.
Right. And the artisans, I think there's a lot of opportunity for artisans in this. I have a friend on Etsy who just happens to work in a fabric store. And when it came time for the homemade mask call to go out, she was a hero in the beginning. And I was like, you are a hero. Now we're charging $10 to mask.
So there's some obvious winners in this. It's the street corner people. It's there's some entrepreneurs taking advantage. I know that I've gotten voiceover work for, COVID-19 stuff, but there's some losers in this too. I mean,
I see things like streets closing and fairs, remember we used to have these, when I was a kid, we used to have these big weekend fairs, like farmers would come in.
Listen, they still do that. They still do that, Angela.
Do, but in San Francisco, it's a strange twist.
There are other parts of California, and I can tell you that the culture, the fair culture, those fairs, for example, I grew up in the Paso Robles area, and the California Mid-State Fair every year is one of the hugest economic booms to that entire area, including the wineries and everything else. How do you think that area is going to do? I mean, I know the idea of this internet life is good, but I mean, some people can't live like that.
But see, there's the difference.
And what about Disneyland? What about Disneyland in your internet world?
Dude, listen to what I'm going to say to you. One of the mitigating standards of dealing with the coronavirus is open air. And what we're talking about are open air situations. These fairs and Disneyland, these are open air situations. These are places that mitigation can easily be handled. How hard is it going to be to sanitize?
Do you think we're ready for it now?
Sanitize Disneyland? I think mentally, no.
Yeah, okay.
But if they said to me, hey, we need to reopen Disneyland and we need like some people to be here first and you can have everything for free if you just come spend a week here. I'm in. I'm in like Flynn.
You obviously want every old person to die.
Let me just say that in the podcast right now. I'd like everyone to know that if the time comes to reopen your amusement park and you require bodies in your amusement park to enjoy themselves at no charge, I'm available.
You can contact Kiff and Ang. We are on Gmail, and we're happy to take sponsors for that too. We'll broadcast your the entire trip happily.
Oh my gosh! And the affiliates will bring our friends.
Oh yeah,
we'll bring our friends.
So many affiliates. What kind of things do you see?
Yeah, I feel okay about those things. The things that I don't feel okay about. Like, I would love to go see Hamilton, but I cannot see myself doing it unless they're going to build like a Broadway theater with like a negative airflow.
They might do that.
I know,
but every casino in Vegas is like that.
Absolutely.
Which makes me happen. Would you think they're going to open up those casinos first because of that negative airflow? Oh, my mom's ready to go.
Those casinos are like so hermetically sealed. They were born for a pandemic. I'm surprised they even got closed.
All right, so
surprised people didn't just like shelter in place there.
So my cousin is a single mom. She's a waitress. That's her bread and butter. It's how she makes her money. It's how she pays her bills. It's how she pays for her son's football
what does
uniform.
She do?
She's a waitress. She is a waitress at Denny's.
Oh yeah.
And the Denny's in the small town she works in has closed, so she's been on the unemployment. So say that Denny's doesn't reopen in the standard fashion we are used to. Say it does become a takeout only thing and her job becomes superfluous. What do you think her next job will be? I don't know. I don't know. What would you do? Say you're the waitress. What do you do next? What do you do now? Say you're the traffic reporter and there's no more traffic. What do you do next?
No. I want to talk about Denny's. I want to talk about this Denny's in the small town.
Yeah,
I want to talk about branding and marketing. All right. So what are you going to do if they can't come inside your restaurant? It's not like this is a wheel we haven't rode before. They're going to pull up outside and they're going to put in their order like Sonic. Or maybe people will roller skate out and drop your order and it's all open air. And okay, so yeah, there's going to be situations we'll figure out the snow places, but we're talking about San Francisco. It's just a creative way of redoing things that we've done before. We're so brilliant at it. Some of the stuff that's going to come out of San Francisco on going back to business is just going to be like, oh, that's right on.
You think it's going to change? You're convinced that the telemarketing thing is going to be what takes off. But, for example, the company I work for, they've invested a lot of money in infrastructure. My husband is a catering manager at Facebook. The building there itself is the perk of working at Facebook is working in that building with all those perks. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to change?
I gave some thought to that too, because I am also in corporate catering by day.
Yeah.
And so there's going to definitely be some changes. And one of the things that I think, I kind of stumbled upon the story on accident. I really don't know what the status of it is, but the business model makes sense. The whole WeWork. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I see opportunity for people like corporate caterers with knowledge like your husband has and like I have, if we so choose to, opening our own businesses, creating our own guidelines.
Oh, come on. My husband is never going to open a business. That's not going to happen. Neither of us are business openers.
So then let's talk about the bigger opportunity.
No, my question is, do you think Mark Zuckerberg is going to really push for this internet only after he spent millions of dollars on this infrastructure and every single one of these tech companies has followed his lead?
I think Mark Zuckerberg is going to come up with innovative ways to do things that he can market to all of these companies that follow his lead.
He's a big fan of the podcast, by the way. Hi, Mark. Thanks for listening. Thanks for paying my husband.
Hi,
we appreciate it in this time of crisis.
We do. And I am digging your thing on Facebook. I'm gonna watch it one of the. I see the ad.
Barely look like a lizard person. And by the way, I appreciate that you do provide living wage opportunities for local workers. Thank you.
I'm not going to knock it. I will say that when I came back to San Francisco and everybody was like, oh, it's the Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital. When I was like, let's go to General. Now, everybody's like, what? General. They're like, you mean Zuckerberg? I'm like, really?
No, you know what? I talk a little crap, but not only are they paying their employees, but they're paying all their contingent workers too. And
I will stick up.
I'm going to stick up for it. Plus, we're using their technology to record this, so thank you.
Yeah, for real. A big part of our marketing plan, Facebook. We'll be in contact. So all right, so let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about certifications people might need to do the businesses that they might do. So you were first I want to say that your husband, maybe he doesn't have the gumption to start his own business, but there's the guy who has the gumption to sell the package that your husband could buy and open a business in 7 simple steps. You know what I mean? There's always a bigger fish, and that's all that's going to be created with this. It's just going to be, and we both come from medieval living history organizations, that guy, you know what I mean? There's going to be the fishmonger, there's going to be the blacksmith, there's going to be the butcher, there's going to,
I really am ready to take that mobile coffee stand to market through my apartment complex. I'm like, I feel like this has some demand.
Did you see they rolled out a robo coffee stand?
Shut up.
San Jose.
Shut the door. A robo coffee stand?
Yeah, it breaks my heart.
Well, look, this comes back to, now I'm all for Andrew Yang when the robots get here, but I'm waiting on those But I'm waiting on the robots. You know what I'm saying? So far, no robots, but I'm starting to see it. Like when the robots get here, then universal basic income, because I know we've talked about that in the past too. I'm ready for it, but I don't know how ready we are for it yet. Capiche? Anyway, I'm tangenting. I'm tangenting.
There's two. I know. I agree. There's two interjecting pieces in this. First of all, speaking of robots and AI, there are hospitals that are using robots in COVID wards now. Because it's creating, obviously it's less of a danger for their own staff. And the robots go in and they can take they can measure temperature and all these other things they need to know. And they can communicate with the nurse, via the robot that's in the room. Clearly you have to be in a certain stage to be able to pull that off, but that would probably be like a highly infectious stage, it sounds like anyway. Then you add to it Mark Cuban talking this morning on CNN, because that's my thing.
CNN? That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's on.
No. It's cool. It's just, I listen to everything.
It's not my only thing.
I know it's not.
I know it's not. There's democracy now. There's all kinds of stuff, but anyway, Mark Cuban's on there talking this morning. He's talking about we need to take a focus and retrain on health and how to track and trace viruses. And really that's the only thing that I've heard for like the last 5 years is that we are aging out. Japan is aging out. Germany is aging out. The jobs are taking care of all of these old people. That's the job health. I mean, that's the line. And so I see a lot of businesses surrounding that. Years ago they opened up like the hair businesses. This is a really bad example, but like, here's the hair school. There's going to be on Polk Street. Come and learn. We'll give you a grant. It's kind of cheesy, but you're going to get a certificate.
Yeah.
You'll do hair, and barely anyone will hire you. It's going to be.
No, that's not. Is it a really bad school? Because my mom went to beauty school in her 50s and did start her own business because she's an entrepreneur and amazing.
I'm bagging on a specific school.
On a specific school. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, no, beauty schools are amazing opportunities, especially for women.
There are. I agree. I'm just bagging on one that was a neighbor one time. Okay. But the point, and there's going to be good and bad. The point being is, our brick and mortar spaces going to be taken up by businesses that have something to do with the mitigation of not just COVID-19, but because they're talking vaccinations, something worldwide. They have over 100 possible vaccinations in the works now. So even if we get it, we're never going to change.
It's going to be like,
because it's not.
I think it's going to be like a cold. It's going to be
like COVID-21. There's going to be COVID.
And then it's going to be too much sugar. And then it's going to be there's too many cars. And then, the environment's so nice now. And it's Angela. Let me tell you the precedent this sets. Like, how many people die every day of a heart attack? And now, because the government has such oversight with the COVID, this is my fear. And we're going to finish the show with my fear is that they're going to start overstepping worse than they already have been. Like, if you thought the sugar laws were bad before or the no smoking laws were bad before, wait till post-COVID-19. The government's going to be so in our faces, it's going to be ridiculous. Have fun at the beach today, by the way.
I'm going to go. I don't care. I'm from San Francisco, man. They can't make me stop.
Surf's up, dude. All right, we need to find a way to finish our show. What should we do?
All right.
It's Kiff and Ang. No, that's bad.
Well, it's been good talking about the plan. I don't know how much of a plan we have other than just like, dude, do what you've been doing and use some common sense and, look some stuff up. Self-educate. All right, my cat's asking to get into the studio, so that means I'm going to put that as the bell for the show closer. My cat's trying to come in, so the show's over. Mars declares production is an end. All right, stay tuned, and we're going to have lots more fun shows coming up or something. It was great talking to you, Kiff. Yeah, you too. Talk to you later.
The opinions and topics discussed in any Kiff and Ang production or show are meant to be controversial, provocative, and possibly create a conversation that is not already being had. The most important thing to remember about this production is that it has zero educational or historical value other than from a purely popular parody perspective. By listening to this podcast, you understand that it is solely for entertainment purposes. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, parody, scholarship, and research. Kiff and Ang Productions is meant to provide parody in an already difficult life. If you find no humor or entertainment in our productions, well, for goodness sakes, don't listen.